Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Heat Zone Live, courtesy of Candle Sports Network. I'm Deron Butler, welcoming you once again for another Miami Heat basketball game as they are on the road as they take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Already we see the scoreboard right now. The Heat are leading 13-4, and that last three just came from Miami, and that's going to prompt a timeout from the Cavs. Norman Powell knocking down that three-pointer. So right now, the Cavaliers called a timeout as they lead 13-4. So far from what we're seeing, Miami's got out to a good start, but let's see if they can keep that going in order to break that 5-game losing streak. Of course, they lost to the San Antonio Spurs in embarrassing fashion. The Spurs, of course, led by Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson, and Bryant Harper. Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant, excuse me. So the Miami Heat definitely got their work cut out for them against this team, this Cavaliers team comprised of James Harden, Evan Mobley, and Donovan Mitchell. And we are back. Score is 13-4. Miami has the lead. And looking at the injury report for the Cavaliers, Jared Allen is out with a knee injury. Craig Porter Jr. out with a groin injury. Max Strus, Dean Wayne, and Jalen Tyson are all out tonight. So the Cavaliers are kind of in the same boat as Miami was, with a lot of injuries. So right now, Cleveland has the ball. It's like Jalen Tyson was out with a toe injury. Jared Allen is out with a knee injury, as I mentioned before. So right now, the Cavaliers definitely need to rely on their big three of Harden, Mitchell, and Mobley. All right, James Harden now has the ball, trying to split through two defenders, kicks it out. Another three for the Cavaliers. That one's from Sam Merrill, the former Boston Celtic. All right, here comes Tyler Hero. Norman Powell sets the screen. Tyler Hero driving in. Almost lost the ball, but gets it back. Hero now driving, almost lost the ball again, and loses the ball a third time. And here comes Sam Merrill. Ball's knocked loose. Last touch by the Cavaliers. Right now, this Cleveland Cavaliers squad, last night they kind of struggled against the Orlando Magic a bit, but it is what it is. Right now, the Cavaliers have 4 turnovers to Miami's 1 in this quarter. All right, here comes Tyler Hero. Hero kicks it out to Wiggins, to Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell almost loses the ball, but gets it back. Gives it to Tyler Hero for the corner 3. And Tyler superhero knocks down that three. As the Heat go up by 9. All right, here comes James Harden. Harden guarded by Bam. All right, here comes Evan Mobley. Back to Harden. Harden guarded by Tyler Hero. Hero kicks it out. Sorry. Harden kicks it out to Keon Ellis, and I do believe that's going to be a foul on Davion Mitchell. So it will be 3 free throws for Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis, of course, the former Sacramento Kings player, now playing in Cleveland. Right, Keon Ellis knocks down the first free throw. Keon Ellis knocks down the second free throw. All right, Jaime Jaquez Jr. and Pella Larson is now entering the game for Miami. And Keon Ellis knocks down all 3 free throws. All right, here comes Miami. They're pushing it up in a hurry. Bam finds Jaquez. Jaquez to Bam. Bam back out to Jaquez for 3. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Miami. And I think that's going to be out of bounds. Last touch by the Heat. It'll be Cavs ball. All right, here comes Dennis Schroeder. Gives it to Harden. James Harden guarded by Pella Larson. Harden for 3. Knocks it down. And we have ourselves a 3-point game. All right, here comes Jaquez. Gives it to Bam. To Norman Powell. Powell kicks it out to Davion Mitchell for 3. That one rims off. And here come the Cavaliers. Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder guarded by Powell. Dennis Schroeder missing the layup. And there's a missed dunk from Cleveland. Here comes Bam. Finds Jaquez. To Norman Powell. Back to Jaquez for 3. No. Jaquez gets fouled. That foul. That's going to be a foul on Cleveland. Bam Adebayo will take a seat. And we should see Kelly Ware entering the game for Miami. Of course, many people cannot stop talking about Bam Adebayo's 83-point performance from a few nights ago when the Heat took on the Wizards, that 150-120 game. Of course, not to be outdone, the Cavaliers had Donovan Mitchell, who made 71 points a few seasons ago. All right, so right now, here comes Harden. Drives into the lane, gets fouled, and will go to the line for 2 free throws. All right, James Harden now at the line. Harden knocks down the first free throw. And he makes both free throws. So now it's a 1-point game. The Cavaliers right now have been on a run so far. Here comes Hawkins. Out to Powell. To Pella Larson. Larson drives in. Finds Kellel Ware for the open three. And Kellel, Superboy Ware, knocks down that corner three for Miami. And we now have ourselves a 4-point game. Here comes Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder gives it to former Heat player and Pacers player Thomas Bryant, and that one rims off. As well as former Nuggets player Thomas Bryant, I should say. And that's going to be a traveling violation on Miami. So this one will be Cavs ball. All right, here comes Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder gives it to Thomas Bryant. Bryant to Harden. Bryant set the screen. Back to Bryant. Bryant for three. And that one rims off. Rebound goes to Hawkins. Here comes Miami now. Donovan Mitchell gives it to Norman Powell, and he gets fouled. And we will have ourselves a timeout. The Heat have the lead, 19-15. And we are back. Score is 19-15. Miami has the lead. So far in this game, the Heat have been the aggressor, but the Cavaliers went on a run to make this a somewhat close game. All right, here comes Hawkins. Gives it to Pella Larson. Donovan Mitchell almost came up with that steal, but the ball got knocked loose. It'll still remain Heat ball. Right now, okay, here comes Pella Larson. Goes for three. Rims off. Rebound goes to Cleveland. Here comes Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder guarded by Hero. Schroeder kicks it out to Harden. Back to Schroeder. And we got ourselves an off-ball foul on the Cavs, so it'll be Heat ball. This one's going to be on Tomlin. All right, here comes Kasper Siakam. Gives it to Pelle Larsson. Larsson to Hawkes. Hawkes finds Siakam. Gives it to Tyler Hero for the three. And Tyler Superhero knocks down that three as the Heat go up by 7. Here comes Dennis Schroeder. Gives it. That's going to be a kick ball violation. I think that one's going to be on the Heat. All right. Cleveland will have the ball side out. They give it to Tomlin. Tomlin gives it to Harden. Harden guarded by Hawkes. Here comes Dennis Schroeder. Gets his shot blocked, and here comes Kelly Ware with the rebound. Miami pushes it up the head. Gives it to Siakam. Gives it to Pelle Larsson. To Tyler Hero. Hero back to Larsson. Out to Hawkes for the corner three. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Cleveland. Here comes Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder guarded by Hero. Cleveland gives it up to James Harden. Harden guarded by Pelle Larsson. Harden almost loses the ball, and that's going to be a reach-in foul on the Heat. I think that foul's going to be on Kasper Siakam. So far right now, Miami has a very decent lead, but let's see if they can maintain it or at least build upon it. James Harden now at the line for 2 free throws. Harden knocks down the first free throw. And Harden makes both free throws. All right, here comes Kasper Siakam. Gives the ball to Tyler Hero. Pelle Larsson drives in and will go for the and one. Nicely done by Pelle Larsson. Means he's been showing out so far in this game. He's been showing out all season. He's got a lot of heart. All right, Pelle Larsson right now makes the and one, and the Heat lead by 8. All right, here come the Cavaliers. Dennis Schroeder gives it to Harden. Back to Schroeder. Gives it to Harden. Harden goes for 3. Harden misses. Rebound goes to Kelly Ware. He gives it to Kasper Siakam. All right, here comes Tyler Hero. Hero loses the ball, and it's going to go out of bounds. Last touched by the Heat. It'll be Cavs ball. All right, so far in this game, Cleveland with 5 turnovers to Miami's 3. All right, here comes Harden. Harden guarded by Larsson. They give it in to Tomlin, and Tomlin gets the basket. All right, here comes Jaime Hawkins Jr. Guarded by Tomlin. Gives it to Pelle Larsson. Back to Hawkins. Hawkins to Hero. Hero puts it up. And Tyler Superhero knocks down that 3. Here comes Donovan Mitchell. And that will do the first quarter. That will do it for the first quarter. The Miami Heat came out with something to prove, and they came out all fired up as they lead 28-19. Stick around for more Heat action. in the second quarter, courtesy of Candle Sports Network. And we are back, ready in the second quarter. The Cavaliers are down by 9 in this one. So far, we've seen some good shooting from the Heat, mainly from Tyler Hero, Norman Powell, and Cavaliers. Hopefully in the second quarter, we get to see some Bam action. All right, here comes Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder kicks it out to Sam Merrill. Out to Schroeder. Back to Sam Merrill. Sam Merrill banks in the basket. And here comes the Heat. Kasper Siaka Jr. up to the floor. Guarded by Sam Merrill. Finds Paolo Larson. Larson finds Kelal Ware. Back to Larson. Back to Kelal Ware. And that's going to be a traveling violation on the Heat, so it'll be Cavs ball. All right, here comes Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder gives it to Bryant. Donovan Mitchell for three. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Kelal Ware, and here come the Heat. Kasper Siaka Jr. gives it to Kelal Ware. Doubt about going for the three. Gives it to Paolo Larson. Here comes Siaka Jr. Gives it to Hawkes. Hawkes guarded by Sam Merrill. Goes for the spin. Kicks it out to Kelal Ware for three. And Kelal Superboy Ware. Three for Miami. Right now the Heat's lead is 10. Here comes Thomas Bryant. Gives it to Donovan Mitchell. Out to Sam Merrill. Back to Mitchell. Here comes Dennis Schroeder. And Schroeder gets the uncontested basket. Right now the Cavs are within 8. And there's Tyler Hero. Knocks down the basket. Back up to 10 we go for Miami. All right, here comes Sam Merrill. Passes it out to Schroeder. And that's going to be a kickball violation on Miami. The Cavaliers were just passing it all over the place. All right, Cleveland has the side out. They give it to Donovan Mitchell. Here comes Tomlin. Gives it to Sam Merrill. Sam Merrill puts it up. Misses it. Rebound goes to Kel'el Ware. Tyler Hero. Unable to get that lob to Kel'el Ware, but instead he get it right back. Jaquez for three. And Jaime Juan Wick Jaquez Jr. 3 for Miami. The Heat's lead goes up to 13. All right, here comes Donovan Mitchell getting that runner. That floater, I should say. As the lead goes to 11. And Jaquez should get the and one on that one. That foul's going to be on Tomlin. Right now, Miami are benefiting from their aggressive offense and as well as some rebounding on defense. Naquan Tomlin already with 3 fouls for Cleveland. As Jaime Jaquez Jr. goes to the line for the and one, which he misses. And now here comes the Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell has the ball. Gives it to Thomas Bryant. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Kel'el Ware. Here comes Kasper Yakajunas. Yakajunas with the spin. Drives in, gets fouled, and will go to the line for 2 free throws. This is what Miami needs to do going forward. Get into the lane, draw fouls, and hit the free throws. Already, Naquan Tomlin with 4 fouls. He may have to come out of this game sooner than later. Yakajunas knocks down the first free throw. And Kasper Yakajunas knocks down both free throws. The Heat right now on a 12-4 run. And here comes Dennis Schroeder bringing it up to the floor. Schroeder gives it to Donovan Mitchell for 3. That one rims off. Another defensive rebound for Kel'el Ware. And the Heat go and push it up ahead. Gives it to Pelle Larsson. Misses it. And that's going to be another foul on the Cavs. This one's on Dennis Schroeder. And already the Heat should be in the bonus. Miami are really taking advantage of the lack of depth the Cavaliers have right now due to injuries. But that's not to say the Heat don't have their own problems with those kind of issues either. Pelle Larsson knocks down the first free throw. Dennis Schroeder already with 2 fouls. The Cavaliers already flirting with foul trouble. And Larsson, hold on, it seems like there's some arguing going on. Dennis Schroeder apparently jaw-jacking the referee. But we have ourselves a timeout. The Heat lead 41-25. And we are back. Scores 41-25. Miami has the lead right now. Bam Adebayo, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, De'Aaron Fox, and Kyle Kuzma, all part of that 2017 draft class. And most of them have gone on to have great achievements, of course. NBA championships, been in the NBA Finals, All-Star appearances, played in the Olympics. Not bad for those guys. But right now, we go back to Pelle Larsson going to the free throw line for his second attempt free throw. And Pelle Larsson knocks down the second free throw as the Heat lead by 17. All right, here comes Dennis Schroeder. Gives it to Donovan Mitchell. Back to Schroeder. There's a three on the way, and that one rims off. Rebound goes to Kelly Ware. All right, here comes a three on the way, and that one goes in for Miami as the Heat lead by 20. Andrew Wiggins knocking down that three. The Heat right now on a 15-2 run. Here comes Sam Merrill. Loses the ball, but he gets fouled. Foul's going to be on Kasparas Jakajunas. All right, Sam Merrill goes to the line for 2 free throws. Knocks down the first free throw and ending Miami's run. And Merrill makes both free throws. All right, here comes Pelle Larsson. Larsson gives it to Jakajunas. Jakajunas back to Larsson. Larsson gives it to Bam for 3. Rims off. Rebound goes to Miami. Here comes Tyler Hero. Out to Bam. Bam gives it to Wiggins. Wiggins knocks down the floater. And we're all back up to 20. All right, here comes James Harden. Harden gives it to Sam Merrill. Back to Harden. Thomas Bryant goes baseline and misses it. All right, here comes Miami now. Bam guarded by Thomas Bryant. Bam gives it to Tyler Hero. Hero steps back, misses the basket. Rebound goes to Cleveland. Here comes Sam Merrill. Gives it to Evan Mobley. Sam Merrill goes for 3. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Bam. Bam pushes it up the floor. Gives it to Tyler Hero. Hero guarded by Sam Merrill. Gives it to Jakajunas for 3. And that one rims off. Rebound goes to Cleveland. All right, here comes Harden. And that's going to be a shoving foul by Tyler Hero. So that's an off-ball foul. All right, here comes Sam Merrill. Gives it to Evan Mobley. Mobley drives in, gets the layup, and that brings the lead down to 18. All right, here comes Pelle Larsson. Larson gives it to Davion Mitchell. And I think we're going to have ourselves a timeout. The Heat lead 47-29. And we'll be back for more Heat action. And we are back. The Miami Heat right now have a very large lead. Forgive me for coming back so late. Had to take care of some things. Right now, the Cavaliers are at the line. And they managed to make their free throws. Score is 52-36. Here comes Donovan Mitchell for three. And good night, off night. Donovan Mitchell, 3 from Miami. As the Heat go up by 19. Donovan Mitchell missing that floater. All right, here comes James Harden. Harden kicks it out to Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley missing that basket. Rebound goes to Miami. Here comes Norman Powell. Pulls up three. No go. And that's going to be a foul on the Cavaliers. As Andrew Wiggins will go to the line for 2 free throws. All right, here comes Norman Powell. Gets the layup, and the Miami Heat's lead go up to 21. All right, right now, here comes Cleveland. Evan Mobley gives it to Keon Ellis for the uncontested layup. Nicely done. The Cavs trail by 19 in this game. All right, here comes Miami. Wiggins passes it out to Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell guarded by Harden. There's a 3 on the way. And that one's an air ball. All right, here comes Cleveland again. Keon Ellis goes for the 3. And that one rims off. And that's going to be a foul on Miami. Andrew Wiggins got there a tad too late. A little tap on the wrist. So it's 3 free throws for Keon Ellis. And I think we may have we're going to have a coach's challenge from Miami. Miami will challenge the last foul. So let's see what the referees have to say as they review this one. The Heat lead 57-38. The Cavaliers Heat challenge is unsuccessful, and Cleveland will go to the line for 3 free throws. And no challenges remain for Miami right now. Very, very questionable decision making from Coach Spo about that challenge. Keon Ellis knocks on the first free throw. Keon Ellis making the second free throw. And Keon Ellis makes all 3 free throws. So the Cavaliers trail by 16. Here comes Donovan. Davion Mitchell drives in, loses the ball, and he gets fouled. This one I believe is going to be on his brother, Donovan Mitchell. Here it is again. Donovan Mitchell swiping the forearm of Davion Mitchell. So that will send Davion to the line for 2 free throws. Davion Mitchell knocks down the first free throw. And Mitchell goes. Mitchell makes both free throws. All right, here comes Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell blows him that layup. Here comes Miami. Davion Mitchell for 3, and he gets it. Good night, off night, Davion Mitchell. 3 for Miami. And the Heat lead goes up to 20. Ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Heat. All right, Cleveland will have a side out. Give it to Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder guarded by Davion Mitchell. Kicks it out to Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, the spider, knocks down that 3. Right, here comes Tyler Larson. Larson guarded by Harden. Larson finds Hero. Gives it to Bam. Bam lost the ball. Kicks out to Norman Powell. Powell gets fouled, and he will go to the line for 2 free throws. Foul's on Keon Ellis. Norman Powell knocks down the first free throw. And Norman Powell makes both free throws. All right, here comes James Harden. Gives it to Donovan Mitchell. Right, Mitchell gives it back to Harden. Mobley sets the screen. Here comes Evan Mobley. To Keon Ellis for the backdoor cut and the dunk. Right, and puts it up. Almost winning. And that's going to do it for the second quarter. Miami leads 63-46. This whole first half was dominated by Miami, despite the little runs Cleveland went on early in the first quarter. I mean, Miami has been aggressive on offense, but also on the defensive end, they've been getting some rebounds, mainly from Kelly Ware. Like to see that production from Kelly Ware on the defensive end. Miami right now, they understand that they have a 5-game losing streak that they need to snap. And from the looks of things in the first half, they look solid. But knowing the Miami Heat, especially when it comes to the second half, nothing is as certain, or nothing is ever guaranteed, I should say. Nothing is ever guaranteed. So if I'm the Miami Heat, I will need to keep that same intensity and that same momentum going like they have in the first half, well into the second half. Because Miami needs to attack, and they need to attack now. So it's halftime. I'm going to get myself something to drink, get myself something to keep myself situated, and I will be ready to get the play-by-play for the third quarter. And we are back. The third quarter is well on the way. The Miami Heat have a 69-55 lead. All right, here comes Bam. Charges in and gets the hook. Right now, Miami is leading 71-55. Here comes James Harden. Harden gives it to Donovan Mitchell. There's a three on the way. And Sam Merrill knocks down that three. All right, the Cavaliers trail by 13. Here comes Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins gives it to Powell. Norman Powell thinking about going for the three. Finds Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero. With two to shoot. That one rims off. Balls all over the place, but it's recovered by Davion Mitchell. Gives it to Norman Powell for three. Rims off. Rebound goes to Cleveland. Here comes James Harden. Spot up three. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins gives it to Davion Mitchell. Back to Wiggins for three. Rims off. And Bam gets fouled by James Harden. I mean, Wiggins had a clear shot. That looked like a clear shot. But then Bam was there for the putback. Only get fouled by Harden. Bam right now has 9 rebounds in this game. And I think we're going to have ourselves a timeout. All right. Miami leads 71-58. And we are back. Miami has a 71-58 lead. So far, the Heat have been dominating. And rightfully so. So right now, looking back at what happened last season, the Cavs swept the Heat. Of course, the Heat had to go through the play-in again in order to get there. And this was their consolation prize. Getting blown out by the Cavs, who of course were going to lose in the second round to the, let's see, was it the New York Knicks? The Indiana Pacers. No, it was the New York Knicks. It was the New York Knicks. Boston was facing Indiana. No, it was no. It was Indiana that faced Cleveland. Boston took on New York. And last season, Eastern Conference playoffs. All right, here comes Davion Mitchell. Gives it to Norman Powell. Back to Norman Powell. Gives it to Bam. Wiggins with the uncontested layup. What a nice What a nice way to get it in when he's ready to score. All right, here comes James Harden. Gives it to Sam Merrill. To Donovan Mitchell. And Donovan Mitchell gets the floater. And right now, the Cavs are trailing by 13. All right, here comes Bam. Gives it to Tyler Hero. Hero kicks it out to Bam. Bam drives in, gets fouled, and he will go to the line for 2 free throws. All right. So Bam should go to the line for 2 free throws. Bam knocks down the first free throw. And Bam knocks down both free throws. All right, right now, here comes James Harden. Gives it to Sam Merrill. Merrill finds Dennis Schroeder. Back to Harden. Harden guarded by Davion Mitchell. Gives it to Schroeder. Evan Mobley, under the rest, misses the layup, and here comes Miami. Bam going coast to coast. Gives it to Tyler Hero. Hero guarded by Sam Merrill. Gives it to Andrew Wiggins. To Bam. Bam guarded by Evan Mobley. Here comes Tyler Hero. With 5 to shoot. Bam for 3. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Cleveland. All right, here comes James Harden. Harden to Sam Merrill for the corner 3, and he gets it. And the Cavaliers trail by 12. All right, here comes Norman Powell. Tyler Hero for 3. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Cleveland. And that's going to be a goaltend on the Heat. Tyler Hero got there way too late, so 2 points awarded to Sam Merrill. And that's going to lead to a Heat timeout. Miami may have the lead, but right now Cleveland is starting to come back into this one. The Heat lead 75 to 65. And we are back. Score 75-65. Miami had the lead, but Cleveland's starting to come back in this one. So far in this one, James Harden, Sam Merrill, and Dennis Schroeder been getting their baskets off. Right now, Larson, Jaime Jaquez Jr. in the game for Miami. Jaquez gets to the Bam. Bam guarded by Evan Mobley. Norman Powell for three. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Cleveland. All right, here comes. Right, here comes James Harden. Harden guarded by Jaime Jaquez Jr. Now picked up by Bam. Here comes Keon Ellis. Drives in and gets the layup. And now the lead is down to double digits as the Cavaliers go on a 9-2 run. Jaquez finding Davion Mitchell. Back to Norman Powell. Here goes Jaquez. Jaquez misses the basket, and now the Cavaliers are starting to get on another run. And Mobley loses the ball, and here come the Heat. Bam, kicks it out to Davion Mitchell for three. Rims off. Rebound goes to the Cavaliers. James Harden now. Guarded by Paolo Larson. Harden kicks it out to Tomlin. Back to Harden. Harden. Harden loses the ball to Jaquez. He covers him. And it's going to be a jump ball. So right now the Heat's lead is down to 8. They once had a 20-point lead, so now it's going to go down to 8. Cleveland wins the tip, and Dennis Schroeder has the ball. And that's a nice three from Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell sinking that before the buzzer beater, before shot clock went off. And now the Heat's lead is down to 5. Here goes Bam. Gets fouled, and he will go to the line for 2 free throws. I think that foul's going to be on James Harden. That was an excellent looking shot from Donovan Mitchell. Nicely done. Donovan Mitchell managing to get that shot off. Now that's a nice grenade shot if I ever saw one. Bam misses the first free throw. And Bam goes 1 of 2 from the line. So the Heat lead by 6. All right, here comes James Harden. Harden gives it to Thomas Bryant. Dennis Schroeder now has the ball. Donovan Mitchell for 3. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Jaime Jaquez Jr. Here comes Jaquez. Out to Kasper Siaka misses that 3. And the ball goes out of bounds. All right, Cleveland will have the ball. Here comes Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder guarded by Paolo Larson. He drives in. Misses the layup. Rebound goes to Bam. Here comes Jaquez. Hawkeye slows down, gives it to Bam. Bam goes for 3. And Bam Bam out of bio knocks down that 3 to put the Heat up by 9. Bam right now with 12 points in this game. He has a double-double in this contest. And Harden missing that 3. Here comes Pelle Larsson. Larsson swings it out to Norman Powell. Ball goes sailing out of bounds, but it will remain Heat ball. All right, Miami has it. Bam goes for another 3. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Harden. James Harden guarded by Jaime Hawkins Jr. Here comes Donovan Mitchell. Gets the basket under the rest as the Cavaliers trail by 7. And there's Jaime Hawkins Jr. answering back with a layup as the Heat go up by 9. All right, here comes Thomas Bryant getting the layup. And the Cavaliers trail by 7 again. Here comes Hawkins. Kicks it out to Bam. Bam getting the layup. Was hoping for a foul, but he doesn't get it. Bam right now with 14 points in this game. All right, here comes Donovan Mitchell. Kicks it out to Harden for 3. And James Harden sinks it. Right now, the lead is down to 6. Kasper Siakam Jr. is in a lot of trouble right now. Norman Powell is there to help him. Here comes Norman Powell. Kicks it out to Hawkins. Hawkins fires the basket, but he misses. Rebound goes to Cleveland. There's another 3 on the way. And the Cavaliers hit another 3. This one from Donovan Mitchell. And all of a sudden, the Cavs are back in it. The Cavs are back in it again. What in the heck are the Heat doing on defense? What the heck are the Heat doing on defense? They had a sizable lead only for it to dwindle. And there's another rebound going to Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell looking to tie this one. Donovan Mitchell guarded by Pelle Larsson. Here it comes. And we're all tied up at 83. Cavaliers right now on a 13-4 run. Here comes Pelle Larsson. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Miami. That is going to be an offensive foul on Miami. Thomas Bryant taking one right into the face. Already in this game, Cleveland has 8 turnovers. Miami, that turnover ratio is starting to build up for them. They have 7 right now. Right. Highland Hero comes up with a steal and almost banks in the half-court shot. So at the end of the third quarter, we're all tied at 83. And we are back. Ready for the fourth quarter. Tied game at 83. Here comes Kasper Yakajunas. Yakajunas gives it to Jaquez. Jaquez gets the basket under the rest. And the Heat lead 85 to 83. Here comes Donovan Mitchell. There's a three on the way. And Keon Ellis knocks down that three. And the Cavs retake the lead. Here comes Pelle Larsson. Loses the ball, and here comes the Cavaliers. Blowing the layup is Cleveland. All right, Donovan Mitchell has the ball. Donovan Mitchell goes for three. Rims off. Rebound goes to Kelly Ware. Here comes Kasper Yakajunas. Gives the ball to Tyler Hero. Kelly Ware has it. Back to Tyler Hero. Hero goes for three. And Tyler Superhero knocks down that three. And the Heat retake the lead again. All right, here comes Dennis Schroeder. Now finds Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell loses the ball, but he recovers it. Wrestling with Tyler Hero, and I think that's going to be another jump ball. And Tyler Hero and Donovan Mitchell was wrestling for that rebound. All right, Miami wins it. Yep. All right, here comes Tyler Hero. Hero guarded by Holland. Hero kicks out to Jaquez. Jaquez fakes a three. Drives in. Ball gets kicked out of his hands. And it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Miami. It's Cleveland ball. All right, here comes James Harden. Gives it. Then Schroeder. Schroeder finds Tomlin. Tomlin gets the layup, and we're all tied at 88. All right. Here comes Tommy Hawkins Jr. This is a floater, and here comes Dennis Schroeder. Gives it to Harden. Harden to Tomlin. Back to Harden. Tomlin, uncontested. It's fouled, and we'll go to the line for 2 free throws. Naquan Tomlin goes to the line for 2 free throws. Knocks down the first free throw to get Cleveland the lead. And Tomlin makes both free throws. All right. Here comes Jaquez. Jaquez gives the ball to Pelle Larsson. Larsson to Hero. Hero for three. Rims off. Rebound goes to Pelle Larsson. Larsson double down for three. Larsson drives in. Gets the layup, and we're all tied at 90. Oh, here comes Donovan Mitchell. Gives the ball to Keon Ellis. To Tomlin. Tomlin gives it to Harden. Harden to Mitchell. Mitchell gets his shot blocked. Rebound goes to Kelly Ware. Here comes Tyler Hero. Jaquez. Corner three. And Juanwick Jaquez Jr. Three for Miami. And that's going to prompt a Cavs timeout. Already the Heat is trying to turn themselves back into this one. And right now they have a 3-point lead, 93-90. We'll be back for more Heat action. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. The Heat have a 107-98 lead. I'm sorry, 104-95 lead. The Cleveland Cavaliers did come back early in the fourth quarter, but now the Heat are starting to come back into this one. Well, they came back and retake the lead, I should say, and now they have built upon it. Evan Mobley at the line. He goes 1 of 2 from the line. All right, here comes Davion Mitchell, guarded by Sam Merrill. All right, here comes Pella Larson for 3. And Pella Larson knocks it down. Larson now with 12 points. And Miami came over with a steal. Here comes Davion Mitchell. Knocks it down. And we now have a 9-point game. Ball goes out of bounds. Both teams right now with 11 turnovers each. Ball went sailing over Davion Mitchell's head. That one's on Pella Larson. So the Cavaliers catch a break. Here comes Sam Merrill. Going for a 3. Rims off. Rebound. Goes back to Cleveland. Sam Merrill finds Harden. Keon Ellis goes for 3. That one rims off. Cleveland saves the ball again. And this one's going to be, I think it's an offensive foul. Yes, it is an offensive foul. Davion Mitchell got shoved by brother Donovan. Just pushed him to the side as he was going to the lane. All right, so we're going to have ourselves a timeout. The Heat lead 107-98. And we are back. Scores 107-98. Miami has the lead right now. Looking at this so far, the Heat managed to claw their way back into this one because of Cavaliers and Jaime Jaquez Jr. making some stellar plays right there. And then, of course, Paolo Larson knocking down that three with a nice assist from Bam. All right, here comes Norman Powell. Powell drives in. And that's going to be a traveling violation on the Heat. So it'll be Cavs ball. Miami already with 12 turnovers, and Cleveland with 11. All right, here comes Evan Mobley. Gets his shot blocked by Cavaliers. And here comes Paolo Larson with the rebound. Gives it to Cavaliers. Here comes Bam. He mows down Sam Merrill, and he gets the basket. There it is again. Cavaliers coming up big with that block. And then the Heat showing that momentum. Yeah, the Heat showing that momentum and leading to Bam getting that basket. Bam going to the line for the and one. And he knocks it down. Miami leads 110-98. Cleveland loses the ball again, and here comes Norman Powell. Powell finds Cavaliers. And Cavaliers gets the basket and will go to the line for the and one. Miami right now on a 15-3 run so far. All right, Cavaliers at the line. And Cavaliers misses the and one opportunity. Rebound goes to Cleveland. Here comes Sam Merrill. Harden for three. Harden misses it. Rebound by Cavaliers. All right, here comes Davion Mitchell. Mitchell guarded by Keon Ellis. Davion finds Bam. Bam back to Davion. Davion back to Bam. Bam for three. Rims off. Rebound goes to Paolo Larson. And Paolo Larson already getting in the face of Sam Merrill after that foul. Thankfully, cooler heads prevailed. Here it is again. Paolo Larson falls down and was right about to get into the face of Sam Merrill, but thankfully Bam stopped anything from happening. Larson knocks down the first free throw. And Larson knocks down both free throws. So it's now 114-98. Miami has a lead. Solid lead right now. Here comes Harden for three. And Harden sinks it. It's now 114-101. Bam getting triple team. Finds Norman Powell. Powell guarded by Dennis Schroeder. Davion Mitchell now has the ball. Davion kicks it out to Pelle Larson. Larson behind the back. Passes it out to Norman Powell. Gets his shot blocked, and that's going to be a 24-second violation on the Heat. Miami was doing way too much with the ball, and that cost them. All right, here comes Dennis Schroeder. Gets fouled, and he will go to the line for 2 free throws. Dennis Schroeder makes the first free throw. And Dennis Schroeder makes both free throws. All right, here comes Davion Mitchell. Gives it to Norman Powell. Norman Powell guarded by Keon Ellis. And Bam gives the alley-oop to Kelly Ware as the Heat lead by 13. All right, here comes Evan Mobley. Misses that basket. Goes out of bounds, and it will be Heat ball. All right, here comes Davion Mitchell. Mitchell's guarded by Keon Ellis. And Mitchell makes the layup. Right now, the Heat are leading by 15 in this game. Here comes James Harden. Harden gives it to Mobley. Mobley drives in. Kicks it out to Sam Merrill for 3. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Miami. And Norman Powell gets a clear, fast lane for the dunk. The Heat lead by 17. All right, Keon Ellis for 3. That one rims off. Rebound goes to James Harden. Sam Merrill loses the ball, and here comes Miami again. Pelle Larson's going to dribble it out for some reason. All right, ball goes to Davion Mitchell. And that's going to be a 24-second violation on the Heat. And that's going to do it. The Heat end their 5-game losing streak, and they do it against the Cleveland Cavaliers, 120-103. A much-needed win if there ever was one for Miami. After losing 5 consecutive games, one of which felt like was a surefire, easy win for them, but that's neither here nor there. What helped Miami get this win was a sense of urgency, a sense of urgency from both ends of the floor, mainly defense. I mean, Miami got out to a hot start in the first quarter. Then Cleveland started to make a comeback, but then the Heat went on a tremendous run throughout the second quarter, thanks to their defensive rebounding from Cavaliers, as well as getting some baskets in the rim and free throws. And in the third quarter, the Cavaliers started to make a run of their own, eventually tying the game at 8-3, only to take the lead for the first time in the game. But that lead was dwindled, or I should say short-lived, as the Heat was not going to run of their own, but they would be able to maintain that lead. The duo of Cavaliers and Adebayo some teams up there, both of them having a double night. Now, if I'm Eric Spoelstra, I think I'm going to have Ben and Cavell and Kobe both, as well as in the starting lineup, because you have to be big up there that you can utilize and have to play together, rather than just rely on one big and then have the rest of the small. So this is a much needed win for Miami, who would who are still in the play and outside check, currently sitting in ninth place. So hopefully this win kind of generates some positivity for Heat going down the stretch in the 9 game season.